much I'm hurting her now. They made me out to be some kind of a monster or something, and she knows better than that. They made me out to be some kind of a monster or something, and she knows better than that. I'm a monster. I'm hurting her now. I'm a monster.
Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. Okay, now that the disclaimer is out of the way, all I can say is, wow, that poor girl trying to be forced to say, eat crow, eat crow. Go ahead, say it, eat crow, eat crow. Very disturbing, folks, very disturbing. Welcome to My Philippines Interest. My name is Mr. John Manley. And yes, folks, if you're sitting there asking yourself, that voice, it sounds familiar. That sounds like Mr. Harry Dick from Passport TV. You would be correct. You would be correct in thinking so. Mr. Harry Dick from Passport TV is my twin brother. But I am your host, Mr. John Manley of My Philippines Interest. And I do have a co-host, Miss Glenda Longface. Glenda Longface. She's a little busy today, so she will not be joining us during this brief broadcast. And the purpose of this brief broadcast is it's something I felt was very important for anybody who has any interest in visiting the Philippines, or anybody living in the Philippines, whether you were born there or just living there long-term, short-term, whatever. Folks, monsters do exist in the Philippines. Real monsters do exist in the Philippines. This show, My Philippines Interest, this show is going to be about topics, information on the Philippines. So it is my duty, Mr. John Manley's duty, to let everybody out there know that real monsters do exist in the Philippines. So it is my responsibility to let the people know, let the viewers and the listeners know that there are some dangerous people out in the world, and there are some dangerous people in the Philippines. Yes, the Philippines, beautiful country. The hospitality of the people is amazing. Interesting culture, traditions, many things that you can get during a visit or long-term stay in the Philippines. But you must be aware that there are real-life monsters that are prowling in the Philippines. And when I say prowling, it doesn't necessarily mean prowling the streets or the beaches, because some of them don't ever leave their house. Some of them never leave their house. For example, my brother, Mr. Harry Dick from Passport TV, he's being stalked by a YouTuber who lives in the Philippines, and he has a channel that has nothing to do with the Philippines, no information about the Philippines. This person stalks women, children, men on Facebook, on YouTube. He wants to know about their genitalia. He's asked people, send me photos of your genitalia. Are you transgender, homosexual, black, white, Hispanic? So I don't know, folks. I think to avoid any possible stalking or further stalking, to protect your loved ones, your friends, your family, so that They're not getting messages or phone calls from people they don't know, and being harassed on Facebook, your children being harassed and stalked, things like that. It's probably better not to show who you are or tell too much information about yourself. So many people had made this mistake in the past, but there are people who who make money, a lot of money, on YouTube. So they need to show their face. They need to be the personality that people can see. There's a gentleman in the Philippines who bangs a pot on his head, and Jesus Christ, he makes a killing. He makes a killing. Then there's another guy who cooks barbecue chicken, and he makes money. And then there's a guy who's not even in the Philippines, who lives in Kentucky, but he used to live in the Philippines, and he just sits in Kentucky and talks about the Philippines, and he makes money. And then there is the very disturbed individual who lives in the Philippines but never leaves the house. He never goes anywhere, sees anything, does anything. He knows nothing about the Philippines. And he's a little upset because he doesn't make any money. He makes zero money. He's tried many times. He's tried many different ways. And so then he goes on criticizing other people who are making money. You're bringing a woman on there because that's your only way of making money. But he tried. He tried to bring his live-in partner on camera. And because she's not very attractive, which isn't her fault, but she's not very attractive, he didn't make any money. And he's tried. He's tried everything. Dog food fundraisers, fundraisers for ramp, fundraisers to give to the poor, which he received some money. This person received money, and instead of giving it to the poor, he felt that the people who donated should be supporting financially his girlfriend. Anyway, I don't want to get off topic. People, be careful out there. Even if the person never leaves the house, he's afraid to go outside because he knows nothing about where he lives. People prowl on the internet, and they are dangerous people. Anyway, folks, John Manley here with you. I'm here because you're there. Take care.